the silence without defining the silence. Just feel the silence for half a minute. Just the silence. Very much. Happiness should be permanent, and we long for permanent happiness. First of all, we will see what happiness is. And then we see how permanent happiness can be gained. Let me start with a small example. A husband and a wife, they are asleep, side by side. And the wife dreams that her husband is dead. She is disturbed. Immediately she touches him. He is dead. This is one example. The other example is she dreams her husband has become President of America. And of course it is not possible. Even if African American can become President, why not Indian American? And she wakes up. And she is dismayed, not happy. Because she wanted to remain in that happiness. In the previous case, she was unhappy. But when she was awake, she was happy. Now look, my point is here that all kinds of worldly pleasures are transient. Why transient? Because there is some difference between the awarenesses of the two. Now, in the dream state, she has awareness that her husband was dead. That was awareness, of course. But then that awareness was conditioned. It was moth-eaten. It was not correct. It's also another example that his husband was now American president. That was again blurred awareness. Awareness was there, of course. Why it happens? Because Radha Dvesha Vivtestu Vishyanindriyescharan Atmavashye Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigachati. This is in Bhagavad Gita. If we are happy, worldly sense of the term, in actuality we are also unhappy at the same time. That is what Patanjali says. Why? Because there is some fear lurking in us that this state of happiness should not be vanished somehow if it is. We are fearful. I have money, I am very happy, I have all, I have one of the haves. But then I am fearful. If tomorrow I lose my wealth, see, that kind of problem is still within. Therefore, this happiness cannot be pure. Now look for unhappiness. Now unhappiness is also real. Because if we are in miserable state, suppose we are not having money, suppose when you in the beginning, when you are a self-made man, initially you did not have anything. At that time, you were always hating poverty. Dukhanshai raga. Sukhanshai. What is Sukhanshai raga, Dukhanshai dvesha. So we are having some kind of antipathy, feeling of antipathy. We hate to be poor. Now see, we are also not having the misery purely. Somewhere problem. Happiness also is not there. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita says, you have to undergo all the experiences in life. How? By taking care of these two things. Very simple. Raga and Dvesha. What it is? Raga, attachment. Dvesha, antipathy. These two things. Just take care of these two things. That's all. And go through all happinesses that nature has there for you. Nothing wrong, absolutely. In no scripture ever in our country too, it has been there that enjoyment of the worldly things are bad. No, never. Just show it. Impossible. But only there is a condition that you have to go beyond antipathy and attachment. These are the two conditions you have to fulfill. And then you have to enjoy whatever the nature has it for you in this world. So materialism is never bad. In fact, that has been considered as stepping stone for spirituality. If you can't do justice with materialism, you cannot do justice with spirituality. You cannot go there. Therefore, everywhere in Patanjali Sutra 2, 2nd chapter and 18th verse, it says the same thing. Bhoga Pravagardham Drishya. That this seen world is cause for both. This is cause for bondage as well as it is cause for liberation. See, the same thing. Therefore, we have to view this worldly things, materialism, in such a way, we have to enjoy it in such a way that we keep these two things, antipathy and attachment, at bay. Now, we start with worldly sense of the term. What is happiness? So here we will start first what psychology regards as happiness, and thereafter what is happiness as concept to yoga, and also how we can inch towards yogic happiness, that is happiness eternal. Let us see how. What to look for if you feel that you want to be happy? It is perceptual clarity you want. You want objectivity. In what? In feeling state. You want that feeling state. Not the brain, remember. Feeling. Whereby you long for objectivity and clarity of different concepts. This is one thing. Secondly, what you want is comprehensive awareness of your own self, not alone, but in the context of the whole creation, and that too here and now. Here and now. Not that transcendental way you go when you die, you get heavens and angels. No. Here. This is modern concept. Yoga says that to obtain a yoga state, you have to have two things. You have to first handle misery, what you call sorrow. And the modern term to misery is stress. Modern term. It is very well guarded and very polished and diplomatic word in a way. Because if you say that I am stressful, people would be quite normal, happy. But if you say that I am in misery, what is it? Are you in misery? You are in sorrow? Something is wrong? But then it is deceptive term. Stress is the same thing, actually. But then we have quite a very good word because we modern people are very clever. Now, first we have to handle stress management. That's what yoga says. Tam vidyadhu sayogam yogam yoga sangitam satu nisyani yuktavyo yogo devata. That is, yoga is the discipline which removes misery from your life. But then the removal of misery doesn't mean that you will get happiness. Suppose you are having headache and you got pill, some salicylic acid or something like that, and you are now all right. And so if someone says, "Are you happy now?" You have headache, but now there is no more headache, is it not? Are you happy? See, don't get hurt that. Don't ask me. Because it is not necessary that if you remove some kind of problems from your life, it doesn't mean that you will be happy. Well, the problem has gone. Is it not? So, removal of misery is one part yoga would give you. Just one thing. What next? Yoga would also give you one more thing. And that is Sukham Atyantikam Yatta Buddhim Rayam Indriyam Vetti Yatta Jaivayam Siddham Jalati Tatvata. That is the joy which is parasensual in nature, which is beyond your usual perceptual domain. That joy, that is transcendental joy, that is yogic joy. It also gives you, not only it removes something from your life like misery, but it also adds something special to you, and therefore you are here. Otherwise, modern world has given you everything to cater to the needs of your mind, to cater to the needs of your body, and gratification, this and that, everything. But then, why yoga? So, this yogic joy or that transcendental joy known as prasad in Bhagavad Gita makes yoga quite different from other phenomenal sciences. That's a very significant difference, most significant, yogic joy. And now, how to have that yogic joy or transcendental joy, we are going to see right now. Because, but before that, we have to see when we try to handle stress management, we have to look at human being. Because human being is operating on three levels. You can see. Psychosocial being, not only psychological being, but this psychology is influenced by the social activities and vice versa. So the definition of psychology is behavior of a human being in the context of social structure. Human being is psychosocial, and therefore you have to maximize your psychophysiological, psychosocial abilities. The second thing, human being is also universal being or ecological being. Well, something is happening there in tsunami victims. Well, they are very far from here, 500 kilometers, we are saying. You cannot say so. Because you are inviting calamity. Maybe after some years, you are sad. You buy ecological being, you have to take care. Like the problems of global warming, many other problems. Terrorism, where terrorism is there, we are saying, no, you cannot say. Therefore, the world has recognized this. The third one is transcendental being. You are universal. Transcendental. You are not only body, mind, complex, but you are something beyond that. And how beyond that? We will give you example through these examples, these three or five concepts. If you are having comprehensive security, if you remain always inquisitive being, eager being to know each and everything, each and every moment, you feel continual growth by learning newer and newer things. This is the second characteristic of transcendental job. Being a transcendental being. So here we have, and the third one is Ananda Padartha. Somewhere you should have conditionless joy. We are joyful if we have certain things. For example, riches, for example, beauty, for example, physics, for example, money, or bank balance, or even without all these things, if you are able to have the joy, that is Ananda. Ananda. This is eternal, not conditioned by all these things. The fourth thing is Mukta Swarup. You need comprehensive freedom. Freedom to choose as well as freedom not to choose. Good. If you are made king of your country, the first thing you will do to eliminate your foes. But why? And that thing you are bondage with the idea of killing others. So you should be free from such things also. So that is comprehensive freedom. And the last one is Isha Swarup. That is, you are treading good path, virtuous path, but you don't stop over there. That I am good, I am pious, nice. No, you don't stop over there. But you long to make others happier, want to motivate others to take the same path, to go the same way, virtuous way. So you are not getting anything in return. Can you imagine Jesus Christ when he was healing others? He was expecting anything? Can you imagine? See, I have helped you this much, giving money. This much is this, total is this. Come on. You never. So that mentality, if you have, that means you have this fifth characteristic of spirituality. So you become transcendental beings. This has been given to us by Sankaracarya of Govardhan Peeth. These five characteristics of spirituality. These five characteristics of spirituality. Well, to handle all these three things, what we have to do? We move next. As we have seen, maximizing psychophysiological progress. Excellence in biophysiological assessment. What you see, transcendental sense of fulfillment, that is prasad. We have to have the Ananda, which is transcendental, not conditioned by money, not conditioned by your name and fame, because that cannot be permanent. Absolutely. Now, we are, fortunately or unfortunately, urban. We have to take note that we have to remain always on the go, to remain always competent in our social milieu. Otherwise, stress management is having no meaning. See, I am relieving my stress, I am relaxed, and after 2 hours of good relaxation of 1 hour, oh, I have to do this, this. Can we separate ourselves with all that certain things we undertake throughout the day? Therefore, on one hand, you have to maximize all your psychophysiological powers, and at the same time, you have to also handle your stresses. You have to be relaxed. Both the things.